100 hours a week, 90 hours a week was a normal.
What in the founder do you guys look? How much does a content creator worth 100k followers earn from paid collaborations? Hey guys, I'm your host Pratik and welcome to the third episode of the KraftX podcast. So today we have Abhijit, Mr. Abhijit. Abhijit is a CA, he's an investment banker, he's a content creator, and as well he is founder of Mentoverse. Mentoverse essentially helps students in getting mentored by the top experts of industry. So let's understand from Abhijit how things are. So hi Abhijit, happy to have you here firstly.
The pleasure is mine.
Yeah, the agenda of this podcast is essentially to, have conversations, real and candid conversations with entrepreneurs as much as possible, right? And in this podcast, we'll be going step by step to understand how your journey has been. I personally have been knowing you for a while now. So considering all of that aspects, let's go from step by step. Let's go step by step. So essentially, if I want to understand that, starting from the journey of CA, right? How was cracking the CA exam, and how was that segment like in your life?
See, I mean, I would say that CA was an accidental thing that I got into. I was always inspired by my brother, and he's 4 years older to me. So I was always thinking, what next? So I used to follow his footsteps, and he eventually, ended up after 10th standard, he ended up doing science. And he was like, there's no point of doing science. I don't enjoy what I'm doing. So, you should try out doing commerce and end up in a different field altogether.
I'm sure science students can relate. I personally was a science student, so yeah, I can relate.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that was also like very initial bias he had towards anti-science kind of thing because of a junior college or whatever the case might be, and he was like, there is no freedom, or just a spiral which will keep on going, and there is no coming out of it. So I was like, okay, I mean, what you're saying that, and the another important reason was my mom was against me taking, so I had gotten a very good score in 10th standard. I could have gotten any college from Pune. So I was like, I'm going to go to Ferguson. My mom was like, no, I'm not going to let you go to Ferguson, because recently there was some news of that there is a hilltop in Ferguson. There was like people just chilling out there and whatever. So she had biasness towards not going to Ferguson. So I was like, okay, fine, I don't mind. I'll take BMCC, and they eventually share the same hill. But irrespective, that was not my end goal was not to hang out on that hill. My end goal was to basically go and end up in the best college of Pune, because I can go into those colleges. So I would say, even accidentally, I went into CA. I was at 11th standard. I did a lot of extracurricular activities. I was always into sports from right from my school days. I was been into fencing. I used to play badminton and basketball. So I did all that things in 11th standard. 12th standard, that is the time when I was like, okay, this is the time to get serious and dig down into what next you have to do in the professional career. That's when I started up, going deep into what are the various options available after commerce, and I stuck to chartered accountant, because among all the other options, I was like, okay, CA is something that is that fits correctly to the nature I have. I've always been too much into numbers, and I love just playing around with numbers and everything, and that was basically a natural calling I had towards CA. So I ended up taking, starting with back then there was CPT, which was the entrance exam, and so I parallelly did it with 12 standards. I scored good, and then that was the time that I thought, okay, this is the time when I have to go fully deep into it. I cut out a lot of things out of my life. I was just focused on studies after my CPT actually, because the passing percentage has always been into lower single digit or just mid double digit kind of thing, which was a good challenge in itself to basically to get through all of that, right?
As you rightly said, Abhijit, becoming a CA is a very difficult process, and it has its own ups and downs, right? So for all those CAs and someone who is pursuing it, so what was the routine and the mental framework that you had practiced during the CA during learning CA?
So, I mean, I had a very consistent routine. I used to get up at 4. The first session used to be from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. So at 7 a.m. I used to get, like, my grandfather used to get me tea. So that was the first break I used to take. So that was like 10-15 minutes. Again, the second slot would be from 7:30 to 12. So at 12 was my lunch time. I am not gonna lie, I used to take a bath alternative days. I was like, I want to save my time in every way possible, so I used to take bath alternate days. That was the time.
CAs are mad, bro.
CAs are mad. So from like 1 to 4 was my next slot, and as usual, I used to stay in Pune, so 4 to 5, 4 to 6 has to be your break time. I used to sleep. I know, no matter what, 3 ते 5 बंद आहे, माझं 4 ते 6 व्हायचं. That doesn't matter. So that was
झोप महत्वाची
thing. And then again, like from 6 to 9 was my last session, and that was the time when I used to do most of the revision of the day and just call it off.
Got it. As you mentioned that you were in sports as well, so which was your favorite sport?
So I mean, one sport which I've followed consistently from many years is badminton. I used to try to play during my, like, in this entire schedule also I used to try to fit in at least alternate days to just go out and play badminton. That's where I used to do physically channelize all the energy and remove all the frustration from the CA studies. But apart from that, I follow a lot of sports, and particularly at that point of time I used to follow a lot of cricket. So IPL and everything was always been something that I've been following closely. So I used to manage my time accordingly to also not go out of fashion altogether.
Got it. Okay. All right. So this is now next question is basically coming from our intern, okay, who is just sitting right behind the camera. Okay. So he asked me that, most CA students are seen as nerdy, or, most CA students are, sort of like one-dimensional. So what's your take on that?
I mean, I don't agree with that. It's just like there is a stereotype that, okay, doctors have bad handwriting, CAs are nerdy, but that doesn't mean like it's a generalization for everyone. Like everyone is cut out in a different way. I know a lot of friends who have who are doing CA with me, but also now are a international yoga teacher, or they someone is doing CA with music. So there are people who will always try to find the balance. The main thing is to just not go into one direction and completely lose out on the other. So I mean, I think everyone has that unique capabilities or prioritization thing that at that time maybe they just want to focus on CA and not do on any other thing. But like the key thing is you can't label them okay, CAs are nerdy. It's basically you need to balance it out and find the correct prioritization way.
समझा क्या? Okay. I mean, fairly understood the CA segment of it. Now, let me just go, transition to the next segment, right? Which is related to investment banking, right? So you being an investment banker, right? You've been coming from that background as well. So if I want to understand investment banking in a very layman terms, what is investment banking?
I mean, see, this question, if I have to explain to my niece who is an 8-year-old, what I'll tell is basically it's a broker. When you are looking for a house, you go to a broker and you ask them, this is my requirement, this is the kind of house I'm looking for, this is the area, this is the budget. Okay. Similarly, the broker will also have a lot of supply at his other side saying that, okay, these are the kind of assets these are the kind of flats that are available. You are basically a matchmaking machine. Now, in investment banking, the only different thing is the broker, the three parties here, the broker is an investment banker, the supply side is basically all the startups or all the companies who want to raise funds, and all at the demand side, it is all the investors universe, basically. Okay. So you are basically a middleman who is trying to connect these two folks and try to make out a deal out of that.
Got it. And how is IB different from other finance roles? How is it?
I mean, finance is a very wide term, right? So you will have accounting in it, tax section in it, investments into it. There are a lot of things that finance is a super segment. There are multiple sub segments of it. Investment banking is a very niche part of it. Like typically you will see, like for example, let's say one of the big fours, right? Let's say KPMG will have 2,000 audit professionals in their company itself. But if you see the entire universe of investment bankers in India, will be hardly 2,000, right? So like just you can see the kind of niche it is as compared to all the other finance opportunities available. So it's a very niche segment, but at the same time, all the other finance folks want to get into it. And the important paradox of it is people who are in investment banking are trying to get out of it, and people who are not into investment banking are trying to get into it. So it's a grass is always green on the other side kind of thing.
Understood. Fair enough. Fair. Like you being from this background, you have a couple of, you have a lot of experience working in it. Was that one unsexy truth that about investment banking that you would say that,
I don't think so. People don't know about it, but it's people underestimate it by they're just saying, okay, he's randomly saying that he's working 70 hours a week or 80 hours a week. It's a normal thing. 90 I was in a earlier boutique, not a boutique firm, but a bulge bracket firm, and 100 hours a week was a normal thing there. Typically people across the globe, and I was working with people in New York, people in Europe. 100 hours a week, 90 hours a week was a normal. I don't promote it, but that's the thing. You should know what you are getting into, right? So, and that's why there's a high attrition rate in investment banking. People can't sustain the kind of pressure, the kind of hours you need to put in. It's just sexy from the outside that, okay, everyone wants to get in, but sustaining it is a task in itself.
Everything is sexy from outside. Okay, so aspiring IBs, this is for you. If you can dedicate 100 hours a week, that is when you'll be in the industry. Great. Okay. Okay. My next question to you, Abhijit, is, how does an investment banker analyze whether a company is investment worthy or not?
See, it all goes down to fundamentals of the business, right? You like in this all this in the new age or startup world, people will be very excited to talk about, okay, I have an innovative product, I have a strong tech behind it and everything. At the end, the simple question you need to answer is there need to be three fundamental things that you need to answer. One is it sustainable? Second is, are there competing products available which are going to, how difficult is it to enter into the market or exit the market? Second is that. And third is, at the end, you're putting money on a founder. Do you trust that founder? And is that founder coachable, right? Because a lot of people are with a very rigid fundamental rigid attitude that मैं जो कर रहा हूँ वो correct है, बाकी जो भी बोले वो correct नहीं. But that's not the truth, right? Because we have when you go outside and when you have seen multiple businesses unfold, you will understand that the best businesses or best founders have been those who have been able to be adaptive and be flexible around their approaches, right? Because at the early stage of startup, there will be pivots every day. There will be pivots every hour also. Okay, you have come up with an idea, you need to pivot. So there are these three fundamental reasons. If you think that you are okay with all these three, then that business is something which I would like to go deep into and
Got it. I have a follow-up question just on the point that you mentioned that the founders, right? Most of the times people or VCs bet on the founders, right? Yeah. So what in the founder do you guys look?
See, stereotype is basically all these filters have always been there. It's not typically only for the investor domain, but even if as an employer, there are a lot of typical filters that you already have. Do you have a college? Do you have a degree from a good college? Is that college credit worthy? Do you have some hardcore good experience in the startup that you're building? Have you worked in that earlier? Or there are multiple other soft skills also that comes into picture, right? Because when you are building, you should not be only great in one aspect of building, right? Okay, you're very great at tech, but you don't have any soft skills. How are you going to run, how are you going to scale the business, right? You need to correctly manage that. And typically the scenario going ahead has been that one person led startup have gotten less liking from the VCs rather than when there is a group of founders or two or three co-founders who are typically able to manage, one is very good in say tech, another one is extremely good at finance and marketing and everything, and one is more on the people side, right? Because if you're able to solve these three things, then that's what VCs are favoring these days.
Understood. As you said that single-led founder or single-led brand, right? Do you think that AI is out here making some decisions, or let's say AI is any which way is impacting the entire scenario, do you think that AI can sort of become or help the brands to start as a single founder?
See, I mean, starting is always one thing, right? Starting, you don't even need a team of 5 or team of like a single person can start a business or start an idea or start a venture, right? But the main thing is what VCs are going to back you for, or like what VCs are going to look out for is their exit opportunities, because they're not going to invest for like 6 months. Their motto is at least 5 years, 7 years. So there has to be an exit opportunity, right? There has to be a scalable venture that you're building, right? So one person starting up is fine, but when you want to scale, when you want to eventually have an exit for the investors, it has to be like, is your business scalable enough that there will be an exit opportunity for the founder, for the investors?
Understood. Rightly mentioned there. What do you think that which industries are investors betting on now in 2025?
AI is the flavor which is going on in the market, right? So all these deep tech startups or all these basically it's not like the main aim is not to replace the workforce but make the workforce effective, right? Because it also comes as an impact angle that you are going to increase unemployment if you promote those kind of startups which are going to replace the workforce. But if you look at it in that way, that you can make the workforce more effective via multiple tools available, that's the flavor which is going on, right? So that's how investors are looking at currently on the ecosystem.
Got it. Okay, now my next question is little off the list. Okay, so everyone nowadays, at least in Bangalore, when I came to Bangalore last month, everyone is putting that I am AI founder, or I am building something in AI. Everyone is saying that I'm building something in AI. Do you think that just putting that AI word in your let's say company or your deck can get you investment?
I don't think so. VCs are not fool enough to just see that AI word and put money into you, right? So because the technology is changing every day, you can't bet. Like for example, there was one tech that you have developed 2 months back. Someone else would have just developed onto it, and your 6 years of energy has just wasted into that product. But someone has been able to build it in 2 months. We have seen that typically what happened with Perplexity and ChatGPT, right? You have spent thousands and thousands of dollars, but this guy is able to do it at 100th cost, right? So it's always going to be, the technology is going to be innovative. The first, you can always be a person who will who is the first runner, but there is always a tendency that the second person who is able to do it at more effective rate is going to get more backing via investors, because they are not going to burn more money to develop to that technology. So just putting AI is not going to solve your problems, right? So you need to dedicatedly show how your technology is defensible in the current environment, in the current rapid environment, I would say.
Got it. And in terms of AI, do you think there can how far are we from saturation?
We are just at the start, man. I don't think so. There is a saturation coming along, at least for the next decade, I would say. The next 10 years is going to be all about AI. Maybe after that, there will be quantum physics. I just met a founder a couple of weeks back who is working on a quantum physics computer, which is going to just develop, just end up the entire thinking probability.
Okay, Abhijit. So you have also been a startup mentor, right? So in general, if we look at startups, right? If you're looking at startups, what problems do you generally see majority of the founders struggling with?
See, I think, with every 12 months, the trend in startup ecosystem changes, right? So if you see the 2022 era where the valuation was skyrocketed, everyone was just getting funded left, right and center, right? That time, the only goal that investors are looking for growth. If you're able to give me growth, 100x, 100%, 100%, you're 300%, and there will be an inflection point which will show that you have proven your idea, right? So they were just mad behind growth, and they were mindlessly funding people just to spend on marketing. If you see, most of these startups when they start, they're just burning cash left, right, and center, right? But the only thing is, that was the flavor of that market, right? Investors were behind growth; they were showing growth at any point of time, at any cost, right? And that cost was just spending 40% of their funds that they have just funded for at Google and Meta, right? That was just happening, and this was creating a lot of pressure when the COVID ended. That time you were like, okay, there is no growth now. And your profits are also all over the place. You are like spending 300% of your revenue on marketing. That's just mad. Then the flavor changed completely, where they were like, okay, now I don't want growth. You show me sustainable. You show me profits, because this is not. They understood after a point that you can't just scale up just on the by doing losses. Right? Like if you've seen Zomato, they got profitable. They had to get fully profitable, but they got profitable at EBITDA level after so many years of operation.
And I believe this was even after they got and I believe that they did a couple of acquisitions, right?
Yeah.
Even Blinkit was one of the.
That's basically now what happens is after a while there is a lot of a crowd on that. Like suppose say it's a pyramid, right? People at the start will be like growth. Okay, then growth plus sustainable growth plus profitability, and after that, the startups get filtered, and there are only few which are able to get to that. After that, you understand. Okay, now where is my next lever of growth going to come from? For example, if you see all the IPO companies who are fighting for IPOs, say Grow has acquired so many companies to get to a place that they are able to show sustainable growth for so many years while achieving profitability. Now everyone were gung-ho about Zerodha just coming up and killing the market. It's not like there is no investor that can put money in it because they're self-funded from day one. Right? But everyone wants to make money in the fintech boom or the digital boom that people are doing. It can be in various fields, right? If you say about food aggregator, there are so many players now. We started with one player, now there are so many players. Quick commerce has just changed the environment.
Correct.
Right? Like every day you see people that e-commerce might be at a jerk of maybe
Correct.
just not being existent altogether, that everything is coming on quick commerce. Right? Why would you wait 24 hours when you can get the same thing in 10 minutes? Right? I want a white kurta to wear for a Holi. I won't wait 24 hours to some e-commerce to deliver. I can just go on any of these big commerce and get it. Right? Convenience is going to be a key factor in changing, categorical behavior.
Yeah, correct. As you mentioned about the quick commerce thing, right? Do you believe that quick commerce is spoiling the Indian consumers in a way?
There are multiple ways to look at it. Right? If you are going to see it from a point of view, are our social levels or social attitude in general going down because of the intent of technology? You how whatever we are doing this thing, right? How are they done like 10 years back? You look at you are the person who are going to get milk. Maybe you are like a 9-year-old. You have to go to a shop. You have to take a milk. You have to do the transaction, and that itself is a learning for a lot of kids growing up. Right? Now, with the intent of technology, everything is happening on phone, right? And you can look at it in a way that the social skills might go down, but the technological skills are still going to go up, right? Now, suppose that was going to happen at 10 years, 12 years, when your parents would allow you to go take money, get something, and come back, right? Now, someone who is at 4 years are doing it via phone. My niece is 7 years old. She can order everything on her own. So the technology has changed a lot from the decade to what it is now. Now, if the same pace goes ahead, there will be a time where a 1.5-year kid will have a phone, or some technology involved in it that he can at the same time tell people, give about what's happening, right? So you don't even have to completely monitor them anymore. You can see them by their heart rate. Your parents are going to track you while you're at, say, school, what's happening. That's going to be a different technology maybe. So that's the only thing that is going to stay constant at Earth. It's never going to stay constant.
Fair enough. How do you think what can brands learn from this?
or how can brands adapt to the rising technology that is happening?
That's the best thing, right? Like earlier, your GPM, your go-to-market would be different as compared to what it is today. Now, any small brand player can just try to get to go to a quicker GTM via quick commerce. That's the whole game, right? Earlier, you would have to develop distributors at a retailer, then you go to the consumer, right? Today, if your product is good enough, there is some traction to it. You can reach out to these folks. Why don't you put my product on your quick commerce tab, right? If it is going to work, just try to leverage that technology that is available. How do you see so many Shark Tank startups or Shark Tank founders or brands getting a global recognition? You need to identify correct marketing strategies, become global, and reach at the same time. As compared to traditional, say, HUL taking 30-40 years to reach to every corner of India, you can do that in maybe 30-40 months.
Yeah, correct. You can leverage the AI and the technology to build something that is far beyond the.
You don't have to typically grow in the manner where a earlier company was. You can have that exponential growth at the start of your journey itself.
Fair enough. So, okay, my next question is that if a startup founder wants Abhijeet Mutha on board on the if a startup founder wants Abhijeet Mutha on their team, so what can they expect?
Expect nothing. That is when you don't get disappointed. I just go with the simple agenda. You should always have absolutely zero chances of having only single dimensional thing. Right? It can be that someone comes and tells you, okay, your existing business itself is not good enough, you can pivot to other. But that thing has to be taken in a very positive way, right? That's why when I said out of the three things, one of the very important thing is coachability. Not the you might have come up with a thought process for last 3 years, 2 years that okay, this is going to be the next big thing. But that's not always true, right? You maybe what we are doing now, USR is done 9-10 years back. You just need to understand, okay, is this going to even stay relevant in the next 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? That's an important thing with the boom of technology.
Got it. So you need to have that assessing power that what is going to be the next.
Taking a bet, it's basically taking a bet for the next decade. So you need to identify what theme are you going to take a bet on.
Interesting perspective here. Now, talking about your LinkedIn, Mr. Mutha has over 100k followers on LinkedIn, already crossed, right? Yeah. So I want to understand, how did the content creation journey start?
So that's very interesting. So I think it actually started some 7-8 years back when I started just scrolling Quora, right? Initially I was just consuming content for a lot of time from various sources, and I was like, okay, this looks like a trend that is going to be like a big thing going ahead, right? Basically content consumption versus creation, if you see the ratio, has changed drastically from what it was earlier, right? So the only thing is, I was just taking up all the content what was there. Then I thought, why not to create some content, right? So I just started writing a random. So Quora was an open source, right? So when you ask a question, you answer. So I just started doing that, and I found, okay, this is an interesting thing. People are liking some of the answers, right? They are able to relate and everything, right? So that started. I started Quora, reached some 4 million views and everything, and multiple upvotes. So there was the concept there was views and upvotes at that time. And then I was also starting out for my articleship and everything, and that is when I thought, okay, now I need to also be professionally active and on LinkedIn. So I started, actively being on LinkedIn, just understanding the platform and everything. And after that, I understood, okay, the things that I've written on Quora, why don't I try out on LinkedIn and start with that, right? And over a period, lessons of over journeys, I understood what is my niche, what exactly I have to create, and what is this platform all about, right? Yeah. So the content creation started way back, but the platform changed maybe 5 years back.
Got it. So I mean, as far as I know, Abhijit, you can easily grow on Instagram, you can easily grow on Facebook, but growing on LinkedIn is very difficult. right? To my understanding. So I want to know that if I want to start content creation journey in 2025 on LinkedIn, how should my strategy be like?
See, I think the most important thing is to know, like, how do you want to grow it in a way, right? Like, there can be a generalist who is going to write about a lot of stuff, and you can be a specialist if you are going to just be in that niche and trust that you are, like, there will be a lawyer follower base only for that niche, right? So you just need to take a call between that. What is your specialty? If you are very good in some particular topic and you think that like kind of content that I can create is vast on that particular niche, you can just stick to that and develop on that, right? But if you're like I know a lot of things about different stuff, but I'm not sure what my niche is, you can start wide and then filter it out and come to a place that you identify. But first and most important thing is to put yourself out. You can't get all these insights unless you have tried it out. Doesn't matter what strategy you are going to get. Doesn't matter what everyone is going to tell. You won't understand until you try. No one is going to help you for that. Just go out. It's just very simple. Just put yourself out. Whatever you think, just don't try to be an AI person who is going to put your ideas on AI and something. You have to have a unique flavor, right? Just try yourself out. Doesn't matter if you're going to get hit in like the first 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 9 months. Just believe in the process. There will be an inflection point. Doesn't matter if it is maybe someone else would have gotten it 2 months, you would have gotten it 2 years. Doesn't matter. You are doing your original thing and not just trying to replicate from what is.
Fair enough. Okay, as you rightly said, Abhijit, that takes time to grow on media, right? I recently heard someone saying that in 2025 your context is more important than the content, right? So what essentially did that guy specify is that no one wants to hear educational stuff. Everyone wants to hear your perspective on that. So what are your views on this?
See, I mean, are you going to be a knowledge machine or are you going to be an experience machine? That's how I would differentiate, right? There is a knowledge machine, Google. What are you, like, if I am able to get that answer on Google, why are you putting it on LinkedIn? Like, is there a value addition or something unique that I'm getting out of by spending my time on that platform, which I can also spend on some other platform? Like, if I want to know what is investment banking, I Google.
Yeah.
But if that same Google answer is there or like in a similar way on LinkedIn, there is no value addition that you're doing, right? It has to be contextual driven. Okay, you need to put your personal experiences in it, your uniqueness about it, like your perspective about it. That's why it's not going to be a knowledge machine, and it's going to be an experience machine, or not like perspective machine.
Fair enough. And then the most exciting part: how much does a content creator worth 100k followers earn from paid collaborations?
Yeah, see, it's a very it's a conscious call that one has to take. Right? There are people who at say 100k will make 10x of their follower basis in a month, right? So you can make 10 lakhs.
Abhijit is hiding his income, but okay.
No, so it depends, right? It's actually like what you are focused on, right? Like if you're someone who is able to who is a marketer by itself, you can easily make a lot of money, right? Like even at a small base or reasonable base. But if you're more of a perspective thing, or you're selective on what kind of thing that you do because you believe that you're only good at those things and you don't want to put something else which you have not directly worked upon, then you can maybe make. So on an average, I would still say you can assume 1.5x of their follower base would be the average money they make in a month.
Fair enough. I mean, just yesterday I saw a post of Raj Chamani. He got featured in one of the billboards. Yeah. So like what I have seen so far, like in this journey of marketing, is that initially brands were going with getting celebrities, right? Yeah. But now the trend has shifted from celebrities to content creators, right? So I mean, it was surprising for me though that content creators getting featured on different billboards, magazines, and all the PR related activities, to PR stuff, right? So yeah, that's the thing. Also, Abhijit, you are a part of Mentorverse as well, right? So I just want to understand that what is Mentorverse, so that our audience knows what is Mentorverse firstly, and what was the idea behind starting it?
See, I mean, it was a very interesting question that you asked. It just jogs down my memory, and I now, if I look at it in a way, it was all accidental, I guess, right? So, couple of three of us had gone to a management development program, and we were we thought, okay, like-minded people, good friends, and whatever. We started but the only aim that we had, goal which we had was common was, okay, we have got a lot from the community, we need to give back to the community. So that was the thought that on which we actually started creating active content for the CA community itself, right? So the common goal was, okay, there is a huge bridge which is there in the kind of knowledge the CA community had and the kind of job opportunities that are available, and that gap has to be reduced in a way that you are trained to get into those jobs as well, right? So you are providing mentorship, you are providing courses, but that is just making them upskilled enough to not be okay with a mediocre job, but aim higher and go for a better job in a way, right? So that thought process was very important to align, because we saw what skill gaps we had when we got that exposure to that management development program. Before I became CA, I didn't even know that the top 3 consulting firms have a case study framework in itself, right? I thought, okay, interviews have always been in a way that it's going to be a question answer. I never thought it is going to be a case study based where you need to there could be they can ask you how many flights does Mumbai airport take off every hour. These are the kind of questions I never thought that are going to be asked in an interview, and you are expected to answer that over 45 minutes, right? Only one post problem statement. So we thought, okay, there is a huge gap. We are the limited folk that got exposed to that at so late in the journey. But this exposure should be done at a very start or very inception at the course itself. So the thinking process itself widens, but I still understand why you don't want to do it at a starting point, because your CA curriculum itself is a very, very big thing. So you need to balance it out by saying, okay, how much is going to be application driven and how much is going to be just theoretical. So maybe going ahead, that's been changing in the CA curriculum also, right? So that was one thing that we identified. Okay, there's a huge gap. We started creating content actively via we started YouTube. I mean, that I just remember one random day we all 3 were discussing, okay, the exams are gotten postponed again, and we had gone through that phase. We were the first batch of COVID which had our CA exams. CA has a history of 75 years, but in that 75 years not a single attempt has ever been cancelled. Whatever had happened, irrespective of anything, right? This time, that our point was the first batch, May 2020, which got just postponed for 4 times and then cancelled, and then we were asked to do it at the next time. And the same happened the next time when our juniors were facing that issue. So we were like, okay, we should share our experiences on how we dealt with the stress, or how we dealt with the problem of not being able to cope up with all the going news around, but still studying, how to take hopes on when could be the next exam, how to still be at a place you don't lose your focus and don't just give up on studying and go into other stuff, right? So we had gone through that journey. That is when we started, and we thought that, okay, we reached good amount of folks in that first video itself. I had pulled in all other all India rankers 1, 2, and 3, so that they could share how they dealt with that, and still continued and ended up at achieving on that podium stage, right? So that was our thought process. We started that. We got good exposure, good experience from the good feedback from the community that started watching. We created content for a lot of months. Then we used to get a lot of inbound stating that okay, these we created videos about how to make CVs and everything. Then we got a lot of input. Can you check our CV? Can you see if we have correctly applied the thing? And it's not going to be a one answer fits it all. Right? Everyone has unique experiences. You need to manage their CVs accordingly. You need to present it in a way that it doesn't look like a very generalistic CV, right? And we ourselves were victim of that, and we saw a huge difference in our CVs if we compare our IPCC CVs with CA final CVs, or articleship, internship versus job CV, right? Our internship series or post that was very process oriented. Like you used to think it in a very simple way. I did auditing, I did this and that, right? So, and after that we understood that okay, what kind of difference your CV makes when it is more of a result oriented CV, right? But that result has to be unique for everyone. It can't be same for everyone. That experiences has to be, and you have to go back, think what you actually did, what was the level 100 picture of that? You might be a small part of that entire work, but what was the actual outcome of that, or what was the adding up where it is going to land up, right? So that was important. That came out, and a lot of people started reaching out to us saying, okay, can you please look at our CV? Can you please see if we have applied it correctly? Then we did it initially on a. But we also had issues with our bandwidth, right? Because we all were also working. So we had, this was more like a mentorship, or just doing it for giving it back to the community. But we also had other mainstream work that we had to do, right? So we found that okay, this is not going to be scalable with only 3 folks of us, and we pulled in more of our our friends that we knew that are good. And they understand where they are, the path, and the mentorship was very focused on getting into different industries then. Because we didn't want a generalized mentor to mentor 100 folks who have different aspirations. So we brought in different industries together, different industry mentors together, and we put it as a platform where you can if you are a person who is looking for specifically say, out of auditing there is risk management, there is out of tax there is transfer pricing, all that. So there are multiple sub-verticals also, and in finance itself there are multiple sub-verticals. You can't be a finance mentor and a consulting mentor at the same time, or you investment banking mentor and a finance mentor. So you need to have a very niche understanding of that, what works, what needs to be, what are the steps needs to be correctly taken to get to that. So that is where we developed this bridge, and we connected mentors and mentees, and Mentorverse was a platform that was providing that.
Fair enough. Interesting, very interesting. I want to know, it's a beautiful approach of looking at things, right? I want to know that what's the end goal now from Mentorverse? What's the end goal of Mentorverse?
See, I mean, as the name itself says, right? We want to always to be a platform which connects your connects your present to your aspiration, or present to your goal. Right? We want to be that bridge, and that bridge, no matter what, is going to be a circular thing, right? Suppose you went from level 2 to level 5. Suppose you started as a developer, you became a PM. But now from PM you might have to get into VC. Then from VC you will say you want to start a startup. At every level you need a bridge. And I want to be the person who solves for that bridge, right? At every stage you need to have different mentorship, different guidance. And if you're able to be that ladder and provide and always stay relevant for the folks that signed up maybe 7 years back, but they think that okay, if I go here and I still need guidance, there will be a platform available. That is what we are trying to solve.
Interesting, very interesting. Okay, Abhijit, so as we are at the end of this podcast, I have, opened up a new segment, which is rapid fire. Okay, so let's go with the first one.
Looks like this is going to be a trap, but yeah.
Definitely it's going to be. We'll understand at the end. Okay? Okay, so doing Okay, let's go with first. Doing MBA or learning through starting something?
Learning through starting something.
Bangalore or Pune?
Pune.
Funding or bootstrapping?
Bootstrap.
Investing or trading?
Investing, okay, let's say, obviously.
Young founder or experienced founder?
Experienced founder.
Kohli or MS Dhoni?
You got six.
This was off the context. Okay, but still. School friends or colleagues?
School friends.
Okay, partying or trekking?
Bali.
Okay. Okay. And the last one, Air India or Indigo?
Akasa.
Akasa. Okay, cool. Chalo, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. It was great having you. It was great having a conversation about all the topics that we covered in. Right. Would love to have another one as well very shortly. That one in Bangalore office. Right. Chalo, thank you so much, yaar. Thank you so much. Yeah.